Hang on, sorry. I just want to double check something.
Control V, Danielle.
Nope, that's not it, Sam. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Book Retorts. I'm Danielle.
I'm Sam.
And this is the podcast where one of us explains a weird piece of media to the other who has no experience or knowledge of it
Very good, Danielle, except you're wrong. I do have experience and knowledge of this one because I assigned it to you, Danielle.
It is. We're in the beginning, the midst of the Great Switcheroo. Switcheroo.
Where I puppet master you into watching the movie Ice Pirates.
Ice Pirates, which is a movie Sam has not seen.
No, I'm sorry, The Ice Pirates. Gotta get the definite article in there.
Yes, The Ice Pirates. Good call. He's corrected me every single time I've said Ice Pirates for the last
I wanted to Ice Pirates so badly every time. I'm like, no, it's The Ice Pirates. It's on the poster. I have to say it right.
Yes, the poster was wild.
If you don't understand what we're talking about, check out the episode of our bonus content where we assigned this to each other from last week.
Yeah, the Great Switcheroo episode.
Oh, yeah.
And so I watched the Ice Pirates.
Well
and
done, Danielle.
Sam, I did my homework. Good job. And I'm going to go ahead and send you just a little summary for a refresher for our listeners that maybe don't remember or did not.
And myself.
To listen to
I'm definitely going to need this.
And absolutely for you.
All right.
Because that's all Sam knows about this movie.
Pretty much. I know that I wanted to watch it, but I sacrificed that, Danielle, so you could watch it.
Yeah, well, maybe it was a good thing, Sam.
I don't know. I bet it's an amazing movie.
All right. So this summary is a little bit different than the one that we had before, but it does kind of tie in with something that I wanted to say about this movie.
All right. Well, I don't remember the one we had before, so we'll see. All right. So what this says is the time is the distant future, where by far the most precious commodity in the galaxy is water. The last surviving water planet was somehow removed to the unreachable center of the galaxy, the end of the galactic trade wars. The galaxy is ruled by an evil emperor, John Carradine, presiding over a trade oligarchy that controls all mining and sales of ice from asteroids and comets. So I didn't know this was a trade-based movie. I'm more excited now.
I'm not sure the movie knows that it's a trade-based movie. I don't know if I just didn't pick. I only watched this movie one time because it was not something that I was not gonna get to do. So I had to write notes on it. So I figured I'd just do it in one go. So I might have missed a few things only because usually I'll watch them twice.
Well, Danielle, I'm sure lovely listeners will be glad to correct you on everything you get wrong about The Ice Pirates.
Absolutely. This movie has a cult following. Feel free to write in and let me know that I don't know what I'm talking about. There's a lot going on in this movie and a lot of plots that went nowhere, as is common in our media, Sam.
It somehow just feels more book retorts to have a bunch of plot points end up not mattering.
It's absolutely the case in this movie. Some stuff you're going to love, some stuff probably going to drive you crazy.
Well, I can't wait. Tell me all about it, Danielle.
All right,
give me your report and I'll grade you.
This starts with some 70s, I'm going to say like a James Bond music mixed with the synth 70s. This
was a 1986 movie, right?
Star Wars, yeah.
Okay, just making sure we got that out there.
So this movie has peak Star Wars James Bond synth music going on.
I've never thought of those things as sharing a musical lineage.
Well, if you listen to the song, you too would go, where is this going musically? And so what happens is it's not a Star Warsian scroll over the top, but it does have print that appears up on the screen. And it says, long after the interplanetary wars, the galaxy has gone dry. Water has become the only thing left of value. Evil Templars from the planet Mithra have gained control of this life-giving resource. Their power is now absolute, except for a few rebel pirates who survive by stealing ice from the great Templar fleets.
There's a lot in that scroll, that title card, Danielle, that whatever you want to call it.
Yes, there is, Sam, and boy, does it get weird.
There are Templars. There's...
Oh, there were Templars. I have so much to say about the Templars.
Okay.
Sam.
Also, not to be a complete pedant, but water is very common. And like,
But apparently not now.
how does it get used up? It's not like water, like, oh, once you drink it, it's gone forever.
You know, maybe the movie tried to explain that. I feel like I actually was going to look up the runtime of this movie to see if I watched one that was like shorter than it should have been.
That was like an edited, abridged version of it?
Yeah, because there was some stuff in here where I was like, wait, what?
Maybe you should do that just to be sure.
That's pretty funny. I'm not sure. Like, everything kind of made sense. It just barely.
Oh, okay, sure. Well, so far, I'm loving it. Water magically vanishes from the galaxy somehow.
No, I watched a correct version.
Okay, I'm glad we checked that, Danielle. I want to make sure.
just making sure. I meant to do that earlier, forgot. So it starts with a shot of hanging feet, like just the bottoms of the feet. And the camera scrolls up and it's these metal robot bodies.
So they're metal robot feet.
Yes, they're apparently metal, but you can't tell that originally. They're just like, you know, big metal feet, like maybe somebody's giant boots.
Okay.
So someone's working on them and one of them kind of, you know, comes to life. He's fixing it. And it's clearly a person in a robot suit doing the robot.
Like the dance, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Like they're just like walking off screen like they're pretending like they're a robot.
How else would you do it, Danielle? It's like 86. Computers didn't exist.
Yeah, I don't know, but they try. And the robots are clearly, like all of them are clearly malfunctioning. And this is like an ongoing kind of, they try to make it an ongoing joke. I'm going to argue that this movie's not that funny.
Oh, I'm fighting words, I'm sure, for somebody.
I know. I'm sorry. If you guys are like super fans of the Ice Pirates, and maybe it's just not my sense of humor, but I didn't even think that it really wanted to be kind of a poking fun at Star Wars kind of thing. And it didn't even it couldn't commit to it. I really wanted to commit to it. It tried to be more serious than it should have.
So it couldn't commit to being its own thing versus a satire?
Yeah, like it wanted to be serious and a satire, and that's a really hard line to walk on, and it didn't always make it.
Aww.
I know. Bummer. So basically the guy's like, okay, well, this is the best we can do. Let's move out. We've got other things. We're coming up on this ship. And so they all, just to set the scene, Sam, they all have this like Mad Max style clothing. There's lots of black leather and metal and like they look like punk rock. Like the guys probably from the librarian that ended up in the jungle.
Yeah.
And the camera scans over to a crew that's watching these ships approaching, and the music sounds super ominous. And so it's a little unclear what's happening, but they land the ship they're in, I'm assuming secretly, given the next series of events, on a much larger ship.
Ah, a boarding party.
Exactly. And the crew descends into the bigger ship that they've landed on. So the leader seems to be this one guy. It's like I said, at the beginning, it's just a mass of people. You have no idea what's going on. So the leader seems to be this one guy played by Robert Urich. Mm-hmm. And his name is apparently Jason, which you don't know for quite a while, but that's his name.
Jason the pirate.
Jason the pirate, the ice pirate. And maybe the second in command or a navigator, or her role is very, very unclear, is a very young Anjelica Huston.
Oh, wow. She was not top billed.
It was bizarre. I was watching her. I'm like, that can't be Anjelica Huston. Is that her? And I actually had to look her up. Like, I had to look up the cast at some point.
Well, I guess you can thank the Ice Pirates for her career, Danielle. You're welcome.
And she doesn't have a main role, so I really do think this was like pre-famous, I guess.
Oh, yeah, probably. I mean, I don't know much about Anjelica Huston, but if they gave her a small role and her name was not up on the poster anywhere, I'm assuming she was not famous.
Yeah, it was very weird. And I wasn't sure it was her. So at the time in my notes, I just wrote, will confirm, because I wasn't Googling it yet.
I can't bother to look this up. I got a movie to watch.
She's pointy. All her clothes are like kind of sexy, all leather, very pointy and spiky.
Pointy Anjelica Huston.
Big ponytails. I don't know. And then there's another person, like maybe again a second in command. They're all second in commands as far as I can tell.
This is not so much a pyramid of command as it is like a line with a bump on it where the captain is.
There's never, I don't know, maybe they have insignia that I just wasn't paying attention to, but I really couldn't tell other than who the guy in charge was, what anybody else's role was.
Look, this is a very democratic pirate ship, Danielle.
It must be.
Egalitarian.
So, that character, his name is Roscoe, and he's played by Michael Roberts.
Sure. Love him. Love Roscoe.
They probably actually my favorite character aside from random Anjelica Huston, who has very little to do. So they use this laser to cut a penny-sized hole through the door as a spy hole to make sure the coast is clear on the other side. And then once it is clear, they use it to cut through the rest of the door. And there's like this shtick where they're trying to get through the door and they're all throwing their bodies against it and they can't get it. And then someone finally falls through the door and there's an alien on the other side that's using the toilet. It's like they cut into a bathroom.
Oh, that's how this movie's gonna do humor, huh?
You thought so, but it doesn't go that direction.
Oh, okay. Well, you got me, movie.
And the leader, Jason, tells the next person in line, he's like, you gotta take care of him, because he's just sitting like reading a newspaper or something, and then he's like, it's weird alien language, and everybody just keeps walking past him, and the next person, they keep saying, it's your turn, you take care of him, you take care of him, you take care of him.
Right, they're passing the buck.
Yeah, absolutely. And it goes through the entire line until a very young Ron Perlman.
What? This movie has everyone. How did you not love this movie, Danielle?
I wanted to love it, Sam. I did.
Ron Perlman and Anjelica Huston? That's going to make your 6 Degrees game so much easier.
It is. It's crazy what this movie did. So Zeno is his name. He's the last in line. He tries to pass it and realizes it's up to him. So he knocks the alien unconscious with an apology and catches up to the crew.
Ron Perlman always gets the job done.
Yes. In his 2 lines that he has in this movie. So up ahead, there's definitely a call out to R2-D2. It's like a Wall-E-esque R2-D2 that beeps and is rolling around in the hallways, and they're trying to avoid it. And then randomly, there is an older woman in a maid costume.
Like a French maid.
Like a French maid costume.
Cool.
And she just like comes out of a door, and they're like, she's like, who are you people? And they immediately grab her because they're trying to be secretive about coming onto the ship.
Yeah, leave no survivors or pirates.
They grab her and they pull her into one of the rooms and shut the door behind them. And the guards, the ship's crew on the big ship, come through the hallways. And Sam, they're actually Templars. Like, They look like they're from the Holy Grail. They have the chainmail headpieces on.
So they actually are wearing chainmail in space.
Like over their heads, and then they kind of have modern leathery garb on.
Danielle, nothing you said so far has made me not want to watch this movie.
It's not all the stuff in it is funny, but it's like the actual delivery of anything is not funny.
This sounds amazing. I don't know what you're talking about.
Maybe it'd be really fun as a group watch.
Oh, that might be it.
So they're wandering around and they knock on the room's door that they had just gone into. And it ends up that this is the chamber of the Princess Karina.
Who is the French maid? Got it.
No, she's not the French maid. The French maid is her maid.
I gotta guess that.
And that's like according to the maid, who's played by Mary Crosby, she is they're in the princess's chamber, and Roscoe does this old lady voice. He's like, everything's fine in here. We're totally fine. Don't worry about it.
Oh, the old thing that like Han did in the Death Star.
Absolutely. And apparently the princess is in like a sleeping stasis chamber.
She's in another castle, yes.
With a lot of smoke, and like it's just like has a ton of fog in the stasis chamber, and Jason goes up to her and is like, oh, it's the princess, and like opens the stasis chamber.
Which one's Jason again?
Jason's the leader.
Right, Jason. I thought I remember as Ron Perlman and
Anjelica Huston. I know, like completely zaps your memory for the rest of the characters.
Is Jason a famous actor I should know? And it's Robert Rourke.
You might, if you saw his face, you might go, oh yeah, he kind of looks familiar from other stuff. I actually think he was probably in other things.
Yeah, of course. I just remember if Jason was the name of an actor or a character.
It's the name of the actual character. I'm trying, Sam. I'm trying really hard.
No, you're doing really well, Danielle. There are a lot of people in this movie, it sounds like.
It is. It's an ensemble cast, but it kind of narrows down here shortly. So, I don't know. He just opens the stasis chamber.
Why not?
I don't know. There's no lock on it or anything. I was
you
like,
have
is
a
this
mission,
a stasis
Jason.
chamber?
You're here to steal ice, apparently.
Oh, no. So this is what he is. He tries to look down her dress because he's a big old creeper.
You love it.
He's interrupted by Roscoe, who's like, dude, we don't have time for this.
Yes, we do not.
Roscoe's the best. And Jason suggests taking her with them for ransom. Like, come on, this is great. We can take the ice that's on the ship.
Piracy 101, kidnapping, ransom. That makes sense.
Yeah, but the crew's like, no, we don't have time. Like, we got to be secretive. We got to get this ice. We got to get off the ship right now.
Okay.
And so he kisses the princess's hand and shuts the chamber back up. And then by shut the chamber, I mean he just puts the door back down. It's not like it's locked.
Right. It's just like a refrigerator. You just open the door.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Awesome.
So they leave the room and they leave one of their robots. They have a mass amount of robots with them. They leave one of the robots behind to keep the maid quiet.
I guess they're just disposable.
They are, actually.
Aww.
There's so many robots die in this movie.
No! Okay, now I'm mad.
Sad day. So they apparently are looking for ice. This is where you learn.
Gosh, the title of this movie didn't clue me in.
Yeah, I figured, but you never know. And apparently these are giant cubes of ice stored in what I can only assume is a cold chamber, but it's not like you can see their breath or something when they walk into it. You just assume.
It's sci-fi technology. They use lasers to cool the ice.
Yes, that must be it. And I was kind of disappointed, Sam, because in the poster that I had to look at to choose this movie.
You mean had the privilege of.
I had the privilege of looking at. There was like an ice cube tray floating in space.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that was like a metaphor because these are actual giant just things of ice.
Oh.
They would not fit in an ice cube tray unless your ice cube tray fit things that were like 6 feet by 4 feet.
That was a giant ice cube tray. It had a rocket engine on it, Danielle.
That's true, maybe.
It's clearly a spaceship-sized ice cube tray blasting through the cosmos.
I was really just kind of hoping that it was going to be a chamber full of ice cube trays.
I mean, that would have been pretty good, too. No arguing with that.
So, that's disappointing.
Sorry to disappoint you, Danielle. Apparently, this movie can do no right.
It's apparently not. So then, even though they've been trying to go incognito this entire time, be quiet, don't alert anybody, they suddenly decide to yell, cut some ropes down from the ceiling. There's a lot of ceiling ropes in this movie.
Ceiling ropes,
and
sure. And
fly down into
sense.
the room with swashbuckling noises and some Robin Hood nonsense.
Okay, I'm back on board, Danielle.
It's just what? You guys were all sneaky 2 seconds ago.
Who needs time to sneak when there's time to swashbuckle?
Crazy. And then Zeno, that's Ron Perlman, gets attacked by a robot that goes all evil, like one of their own robots that goes all evil and cuts off his hand.
He cuts off his hand?
It cuts off his hand.
No, not Ron Perlman.
Yeah, you think that would go somewhere, but other than a gag later, it really doesn't.
Well, I mean, that counts, Danielle. They brought it back.
So it cuts off his hand, and 2 of the robots, the robots that are really just people, get into a fight.
All robots are people, Danielle. Don't be racist.
Sorry, yes, you're right. Robotist, yes. Their AI technology allows them to have human feelings.
Why would we do that? That's so mean to them. Human feelings are not great.
So these 2 robots get into a fight, and one is trying to save the crew from the one that, went a little insane.
Went rogue.
And Jason, and all the guys are putting bets on it. They're like, oh, this is awesome. And the crazy one dies. And then Jason throws one off the side of the banister just for funsies to convince the other robots to behave.
He's like, if you don't, I'll kill you like these last 2 were killed.
And then they all step in line and do a little salute.
Good. Show them who's boss.
So the scene switches and we're now in the main ship's evil bridge area.
Evil bridge area, not the good bridge area.
Just to clarify which ship bridge we're in, it's the evil ship.
Oh, I thought you meant the evil bridge of the ship, because they have the good bridge and the evil bridge.
Yes, the bridge is the sentient evil bridge.
No, it's the bridge where the evil people hang out. You have the good bridge, and that's what keeps balance, like a yin and yang thing, Danielle.
Yes, that's not how the ship... I mean, maybe we just never went over to, where they're drinking coffee and doing yoga over in the good bridge.
That's not a good... I'm taking out the evil people up there doing that.
And for whatever reason, they're still in their Templar gear, because apparently that's just what they wear.
It's a uniform, Danielle. You wear that for protection, and it's part of your... I don't understand why it's so complicated.
And so this is the whole first half of this movie is very confusing in that they are trying to get into the ice room so that they can take the ice and steal it. And so now they've made this loud war cry trying to get the ice, and then suddenly they decide they're going to go to the bridge for no reason whatsoever, as far as I can tell. And so they're all sitting in the bridge, and suddenly all the ice pirates just pop into the bridge, and they're like, "We got you!" And I'm like, "You were stealing the ice."
So let me understand this correctly. Their goal was to steal the ice. They found the ice. They had hands on the ice, and they said, "You know what? We don't need this ice right now. Let's go to the bridge and get a little surprise party for the bridge crew."
Yes, and I don't know why, and I don't know if I missed something or if they just the movie doesn't make sense.
Maybe they knew something we didn't. Maybe they want the ship now too.
Yeah, so they're sitting there. Jason's eating their chicken that they have out in a little bucket thing. I don't know. They're just chatting, and they ask them how long the princess has been on board. And during this chat, one of these two humans, or I assume humans, they're like humans with white wigs and spandex. I don't know if they're supposed to be like an alien at this point. I don't know if they're supposed to be like an alien species.
Templars?
They're like part of the bridge crew.
Got it.
So they're in these like white spandex, like tank top onesies and white wigs.
Love
and I'm
it.
like,
Andy
okay.
Warhol. Got it.
Yeah, I was like, are they supposed to be like an alien species? What are they supposed to be? So one of them rushes to the button board on the bridge while they're talking and pushes the emergency alert, and this attack ensues.
Like they attack the ice pirates. Got it.
Yeah, and like the security detail shows up immediately. Again, I'm not sure why they stormed the bridge. Are they taking over the ship? Are they just trying to steal the ice? I don't know.
I think he just wanted chicken, Danielle. Clearly he was hungry.
Yeah, you could smell it probably from down the hallway.
Oh, absolutely. You can smell a good chicken anywhere.
So during all this fighting, Jason decides that it's a good idea to go kidnap the princess anyway.
Well, I mean, you're under attack. You might as well get a hostage to cover your butts.
Yes, they wouldn't be under attack if they knock onto the bridge, but here we are.
Danielle, please. You're not your picking nits.
I am, actually. So there is while he's running off to get the princess, there's like a laser war in the ice room.
Like laser shooting, got it.
Yeah, and he picks up the princess, fireman throws her over his shoulder, and she's waking up. She is feisty. She's very, kind of Princess Leia-esque.
Got it.
And if she's not a love interest to the creepy guy, I'd be awfully surprised at this point.
His name is Jason, Danielle.
He's a little creeper.
Oh, absolutely.
So at this point, they finally make it back to the ship, but I have no idea if they got the ice, because you never find out.
Well, isn't their ship tiny compared to the big ship?
Yeah, yes, it is.
So how are they going to fit the giant ice cubes on it in the first place?
I assume maybe they're trying to take over the ship, but it's so unclear. Like they go straight for the ice, but then suddenly they're on the bridge.
Maybe they went there to like confirm the booty was intact before they made the assault on the bridge. And like, if it wasn't there, they could have just, bounced out of there without having to confront anybody.
I'm willing to believe that. I'm also willing to believe that they just came across the ice room while they were looking for the bridge, because why
lost.
Not?
Yeah, sure. That makes sense too. I love that. That's probably more likely.
So I'm going to walk you through some of my thought process, because I know how these people are now, but at the time they were introduced, I had no idea what was going on.
Of course.
And so just so you know, a couple of people coming up. They're back on the ship, and it switches to the evil people again. And it is a guy who is clearly important. Maybe a king. He's got like a shiny crown
Space
headband.
Emperor. Yeah.
That's made out of a shiny polyester-esque material.
He's fashion, Danielle.
And he tells, it seems to be the captain, that he's had a lot of time and ships to get rid of the ice pirates in the sector, and he's not pleased.
Of course. Why would he be pleased if they kidnapped his daughter, fiance?
I don't know at this point, Sam. I have no idea who
I'm
this
just
dude is.
Speculating here, Danielle, because I know how these movies work.
So it's not going where you think it's going.
Uh-oh.
This is another introduction of Anjelica Huston. Her name's like Maida, I think. Maida.
Who cares? It's Anjelica Huston.
It's Anjelica Huston. And she's multi-purpose. She's now piloting the ship as they're trying to get away, until Jason's like, I can do it better than you, and pushes her over and takes over.
Jason, you could never do it better than Anjelica Huston.
Everybody seems to be cross-trained on this ship, as I pointed out.
Which is reasonable if you want redundancy.
It's a small ship. Yeah. So then Roscoe takes over from Jason.
Why not? Look, everyone gets a turn, Danielle. It's my turn to sit in the pilot chair.
And then, what is probably one of the better jokes, actually, in this movie is that they show the screen. They're trying to, fight the bad guys off. They show the screen, and it's very, Space Invaders-y on the screen with, the little ship trying to shoot at all the other ships. And the screen eventually says contest over, and then suddenly Jason's ship gets a huge hole blown into it. And they board it, the emperor dude with the crown, polyester crown.
That was fast.
And all of his Templars arrive. This doesn't go where you think it's going.
Okay. I'm sorry, Danielle. I'm just saying it was a fast fight.
It was. Literally, 2 minutes later, their ship's boarded. They pick up the princess and cart her away and start shooting the crew members that don't have names.
Right, of course. I mean, that's what they're there for.
Yep. It was the most short-lived ice pirating in history. The end. That was
all
the
right.
end of the movie.
Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us on this episode of The Great Switcheroo.
It's a really good movie. Highly recommend it.
Oh, Danielle, you chose it. Don't forget. You could have been watching The Enchanted Forest.
I know. Maybe next time. So, cutscene. We are now at a jail.
Okay.
Where wig spandex guy is making his way down this trail of people in the jail cells, and he's pouring soup into cups. And one of the prisoners tells the crew that's locked up there that everybody's on edge because they're getting closer to Mithra.
Not Mithra.
That's the planet with the water.
I figured, yeah.
Okay. And they're getting antsy because they're thinking about being redesigned, quote unquote, which apparently means castrated.
Oh, okay. What?
I don't know why, Sam.
We just do this for fun.
There's I don't know what they think the threat is that can be, not... that castration's gonna cure.
Right. It's probably just to protect the princess.
Yeah, maybe she's not. She's not tied into this world quite as much as it seems like she is.
Okay, well, castration, got it. Love it.
Castration is a
just
thing.
World building, Danielle. World building.
It is. And the only people that don't get castrated, the only people who are prisoners who don't get castrated are clergymen.
Why are they taking clergy prisoner?
I don't know, but there is one in the cell with them.
Okay.
So they pass by Mithra and everybody runs to the window. It's kind of along the back of the jail cell to look out. And according to some handy exposition, it's the only place with water in the galaxy. And something about how they have fields of ice or water that they cover so the water doesn't evaporate. I don't know.
That's not how any of this works.
They don't really explain it, Sam. You just know that there is a planet that's the only place that has water.
Got it. All right. Well, all the water in the galaxy is on one planet because that makes sense.
And they make it to wherever they're going, and they're taken off the ship in this crate that's transported through the air, kind of on a zip line.
Okay. Zip line crate. That sounds like fun.
It is. It's not going quite that fast, but it is just being carted above the entire walkway beneath them. And the princess walks underneath, and she kind of looks up at the crate that's passing above her. And one of the captives with them mentions that she's being honored that evening at the royal court because her father just disappeared looking for the quote-unquote seventh world.
So her father disappeared looking for the seventh world, and for that she's being honored.
Yeah, it's I wouldn't say a memorial, but it's kind of similar to that.
Okay. I was congratulations, your father's missing. Here's a medal.
I mean, it actually is just a giant masquerade party when we finally get to it, so I'm not entirely sure.
Did Edgar Allan Poe write this?
It's kind of wild. When we got to it, I was like, why is she... What?
Well, you know what? Kept me on my toes, Danielle. This movie is not going where I think it's going.
So, Seventh World is apparently some old wives' tale. They don't get into what that Seventh World is quite yet.
Okay, quick question, Danielle, just before we get too far into it. How Waterworld is this movie?
Is there a map on a little girl that they have to follow to get there?
I mean, just in terms of the premise where the bad guy who's kind of a pirate finally teams up with the good person and they are questing to find this mythical planet.
Not that Waterworldy.
Okay, well, that's disappointing.
I think Waterworld's a better movie, and that doesn't often get said by anybody.
Oh, all right. Well, good thing I'm not taking sides in this fight.
Don't get me wrong. I love Waterworld with all my heart and soul.
Oh, boy. All right. Well, we're going to hear from
Not really. I do quite like Waterworld, though. I know it's terrible in many ways, but it's got creativity for days.
Well, creativity and gills on Kevin Costner.
I mean, how can you not love that movie?
And yet here you are bashing ice pirates.
I know, but it is a little Waterworld in space, but it doesn't quite... I think Waterworld had more world building and development than this movie.
Fair enough.
This is much more action, not as interesting as Star Wars.
Well, who could be more interesting than Star Wars, Danielle?
I guess. Anyway, don't at me. I do like Star Wars. Anyway, so let's just move on. The captive that's telling him about the seventh world says that the princess doesn't seem to realize that the Templars clearly killed her father.
How does he know that?
I don't know. It's just word on the street. And they use this great phrase, which I think is the best part of the whole movie. He says, as a curse to the Templars, may they all end in thirst.
Oh, that's brutal.
I know. I love that. I was what a good line. The best line in the whole movie.
All right,
sure.
You're stealing that. You're going to go up to people tomorrow and be like, may you all end in thirst. And they'll be like, Danielle, what's wrong with you? Why are you so angry?
They won't even know what I'm referencing.
I know, the best.
The Ice Pirates.
You may be surprised, Danielle. Ask around how many people you know that have seen the Ice Pirate.
Absolutely. On it, Twitter poll coming up.
I would say people you know, but sure.
I'll do both. So the next scene, assembly line castration. And
okay. Favorite scene so far. Just spring that on me, Danielle.
There's all these screams in the background, and there's like assembly line barbers. They're getting foam on their faces, and they're trying. It's a terrible.
Are they on like a conveyor belt, and like robot arms are doing it? Or are they actual people?
No, there's like actual humans doing it. They are on a conveyor belt.
Okay,
and
good.
They're using the old like bladed
the straight
tools.
razors. Yeah.
Which they're trying to do as they're like the conveyor. It doesn't stop. It just keeps going.
That sounds dangerous.
It's very not possible. And Jason's kind of flirting with the crew, but until he sees these like giant chompers that are supposed to castrate him, and it totally looks like very similar to the alien from Aliens with all the little teeth. And, like that would cause so much damage. They would die.
I mean, that's the whole idea, isn't it?
Yep. And so you can see it's getting closer, it's chomping, and then he zooms through, and he's got his eyes closed, and the chompers don't end up eating him. And the princess is standing on the other side, and she's like, pretend like it happened. And so he screams, She's like, pretend like it happened, or it will happen to you, is what she says.
Oh, she's taking a liking to the guy who kidnapped her for some reason.
Well, yeah, and Roscoe's like behind her, so he also has the same like fate. He doesn't get bitten by the castration chompers.
We gotta get a better name for those.
I know.
Castratomatic.
Clever. I was trying to think of something clever, but it didn't come to me fast enough. So next scene, they are all being put in those white wigs and the white spandex that the people were wearing earlier. So apparently all those people are the castrated victims.
Castrati.
Yes, obviously. And they're in the shop, like, kind of an old 1800s clothing type shop, but with the spandex. And the princess is there with her maid, who's now just in like weird 1900s nanny gear. Like she's got like the Victorian garb on.
So I think this nanny just likes to like Ren Fair cosplay.
Yeah, I swear she does. Every outfit she has on is like completely, everybody else is in like leather and, shiny polyester material and silk and stuff. And she's in like Victorian garb constantly.
I like her.
I like the idea that she's just cosplaying all the time.
She's like, no, call me a 20th century person.
So basically, the princess is there talking to the shopkeeper, picking out some of the castrati, the eunuchs, I don't know, whatever you want to call them, to take home with her. They're going to be servants at her memorial party thing.
Sure, like you do.
Yeah. And so she leaves with the shop owner, the princess does, and the maid stays behind to tell them that the princess will explain everything later, but they have to act as slaves in the interim.
Sure. Works for me. I mean, better than getting, put through the Castratomatic.
That's true. I'm sure they were very pleased, and the princess will be pleased later, too.
Uh-oh, that's foreshadowing.
So we cut to a masked ball with a choreographed dance number.
Oh my, you pushing all my buttons.
It's extremely necessary in every 70s and 80s movie.
Why didn't Star Wars have a masked ball with a choreographed number? It would have been a better movie.
It would have been a much better movie. We should redo Star Wars.
Okay. I'll call up George. Let's see if we can make that happen.
Maybe we could what's it called where people think that something happened, but it never really did in media?
The Mandela effect?
Yeah, maybe we could just talk about it so much that now there is a dance number in Star Wars.
We could Mandela effect this whole thing. That'd be great.
Just combine them. People will think it happened in Star Wars. So there's servers at this ball, he and Roscoe, and there's some neural device that this has nothing to do with anything. I just thought I'd throw it out there. There's this neural device that seems to give some kind of orgasmic sensation to people, and it makes them float. And I do not understand how this works.
I mean, I don't care how it works, Danielle. You can get me floating orgasms.
They're all high on the ceiling, literally high by this orgasmic device. And they're just floating up. They're like, this is awesome. But not Roscoe and Jason, but the people at her dad's, what I assume is still her dad's memorial.
When did this become Barbarella?
It's bizarre. Honoring her father's disappearance.
There's nothing my father likes more than getting high, floating on the ceiling, and lots of orgasms.
Yeah,
so this one's for you, Dad. I'm going to pour one out for events. You, Dad. And by pour one out, I mean pour one out.
Maybe this is a masquerade ball, and the memorial / celebration is another day.
No, I like to imagine these are a 21 gun salute, but a 21 orgasm salute.
Yes, that's exactly what's going on. So for whatever reason, Roscoe seems to have been put in charge of taking care of these robots. He's the like mechanic guy that's been doing a lot of the robot work. And he's mixed in with them, trying to take care of them kind of still malfunctioning and stuff. And it turns out that one of the robots is actually the clergyman that was in the jail cell earlier.
The one who would not have been castrated anyway.
Correct. Like earlier when they got out of the crate, he went a separate way. The guards took him off a different direction, and now he is dressed in a robot suit. And I really think this furthers my point that they just look like humans in robot suits when just a guy in a robot suit can blend in.
Maybe that's the real secret. Maybe all the robots are priests in robot suits.
It could be. I mean, we don't see any of the other ones pull off their helmets, but why not?
Why not, Danielle? All right, I think we solved this movie.
Perfect. That would have been a better movie if they all showed up at the end and they were like clergy robots.
Look, our religion is dressing up as robots and never, ever taking off the robot suits. Why is that so difficult to understand?
I don't know. He does take off the robot suit, though.
Well, that's because he is breaking from orthodoxy.
He is. So Jason shows up and he's like to get Roscoe, and he's a little confused. He's like, why is the priest in a robot suit? And Roscoe's like, whatever, let's go.
Don't ask, not the time,
Don't
know
ask
the
questions.
place. He asks these questions.
And Jason tells Roscoe that the princess wants to speak with him because she's leaving the planet, so she needs to touch base with them.
Okay.
And she tells them, they go up to her and she tells them covertly that they need to go to the Pirate's Moon in the next half an hour, whatever that is.
Okay. Pirate's Moon, sure. I'm sure the pirates know where that is.
Yes, they do.
Quick question.
Sam.
Is the rest of their crew just dead? Is it just...
Okay, yeah. So this is about where I was like, where's the rest of the crew?
Yeah.
Good question, Sam. You don't know for quite a while, but we'll get there.
Okay, as long as they're somewhere.
They are somewhere. I don't know if I missed something or what, but I was like, where'd the crew go?
Jason seems remarkably unconcerned with the fate of his crew.
Yeah, he's not the best leader. The emperor dude guy, who may or may not be an emperor at this point, who knows, calls across the room that he needs to speak to the princess. So she's like trying to get, make her way through the room to get out. And for some reason, Jason, Roscoe, and the Princess Karina, decide they're going to like run for it, which seems like the most terrible idea.
Well, that would be suspicious.
Yeah, like you could have just said, yes, what do you need? But instead they're like, run!
I mean, what was their time clock? I mean, could she take 15 minutes to talk to the emperor dude and say, like, I gotta go powder my nose?
I don't know how long it takes for them to get to the base where the ship is to get to the pirate moon, but like she's like, we've got half an hour to get over there, and then the guy's like, hey, we need to talk. She's like, we've got to run. Like it's like just a minute ago you were casually strolling through.
Can't you just say like,
dining hall? Give
me 2 minutes, gotta go drain the old lady snake.
Yeah, there are a lot of excuses and maybe he was already suspicious, but they just had a very civil conversation. There seemed to be no reason why this guy would be suspicious of her.
No, she bails way too easily.
It's weird. The three of them end up jumping onto a hallway motorcycle. That's in the hallway.
So it's a motorcycle in a hallway.
I don't know why. It's like in the building, there's just a random hallway.
Because it's not going to get stolen if you park it inside, Danielle.
It's very strange. And the clergy dude, like, suddenly appears, runs up behind them, and is like, take me with you, and jumps onto this motorcycle. It's apparently a very long motorcycle.
He doesn't want to be a robot.
This floor-level police car, like, chases after them down these hallways.
Oh, I love those little tiny, like a go-kart or a golf cart with, like, cardboard around the end of it.
Yeah, it's weird. And they lose their motorcycle kind of in the run, while they're being chased, and they get split up. Jason takes the princess with the maid. He ends up with them, and Roscoe and the priest end up together.
Oh, that's unfortunate for Roscoe.
Yes. Well, not really. I like him, too. Those are my two favorite characters.
Oh, Roscoe and the priest. You watched the whole movie just about them.
Actually, would have probably been better. So Jason takes the princess and maid to the ship. He's like, okay, let's make it to the ship and we'll go from there. And Roscoe and the clergy guy are hiding from the police, and they're kind of in this, like, an underground parking garage area now through all the hallways and stuff.
Yeah.
And this pimp robot, like, it's a robot that has this TV that keeps showing, like, all these sexy girls dancing on his belly.
So it's like a horny Teletubby.
Yes. And he shows up to ask Roscoe, the clergy guy, if you want to see some boobs, like, I'll take you over to where the boobs are.
That's a great question. Look, Everyone out there, please. I've never been asked that question. I think it's a question more people should hear.
And definitely not by a, what did you say? A sexy Teletubby?
A horny Teletubby, yes.
A horny Teletubby, way better. Way creepier to be a sexy Teletubby. And the clergy guy is like, yeah, I want to see some boobs.
A priest after my own heart.
But Roscoe, literally the only voice of reason in this entire movie, is like, no, we do not have time. We've got to get on this ship.
Danielle, there's always time for boobs.
Yeah. And the robot is like, hey, are you sure? Come on, I can transport you over there. Like, come on, you want to see that? Look at the girls on my stomach. They're hot. And
there's Dipsy, La, Tinky Winky.
And they're like, wait, you said transport? Like, you have a car? You can take us? And they're like, he's like, yeah, let's go. I'll take you over. So they all jump in the car.
See? Boobs solve everything.
They do. But meanwhile,
Aw.
back on the ship, the princess shows Jason a picture of a young guy who is named Lanky Nibs.
Great. That's a Star Wars caliber name right there.
It's so good. The rest of my notes say Lanky Nibs in its entirety. They call him Lanky, and I'm like, Lanky Nibs, Lanky Nibs.
I refuse to address him as anything other than Lanky Nibs. He'll always be Lanky Nibs in my heart.
Lanky Nibs. He's apparently a rabble rouser from the midsection and an old friend of Jason's.
What's the midsection?
I don't know, Sam. What's
Okay,
the
got
midsection? This whole, maybe you could draw a map based on what they say during this movie, but I don't know.
I want to see you do that.
I think they just made up words.
Well, clearly they made up Lanky Nibs.
Such a good name.
Amazing.
The princess wants to meet him. And this, Sam, this far into the movie is where I decided to look up the cast.
Oh, okay, finally.
So apparently the maid is named Nanny.
That tracks.
Yeah, why she was in a costume earlier, again, is beyond me. And the clergy guy is played by John Matuzak, and he is named Killjoy. So He may not actually be clergy.
It sounds like he may have been posing as one, given his eagerness for boobies.
Anyway, though, that was fun. And that's when I found out that it was actually Anjelica Huston as well.
I mean, that's the real gold in this look up there.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. The princess wants him to arrange, Jason, to arrange a meeting. And then also, at this point, we realize that Roscoe and Killjoy, the clergy, have somehow made it back to the ship. And that we didn't spend more time with the booby robot is a national travesty.
I want more horned up Teletubbies in my movies. America, you can make this happen.
Even in the back of the car while they're talking to the guy, it would have been interesting.
And he's just babbling about I got girls from all over. See my chest. You want to watch a movie? I'm so lonely.
That's basically what he was doing.
Oh, that's so sad.
I know. When they were there on the ship, I was like, first off, how did they get to the ship? I want to watch that whole section of how they talked that guy into getting them to the ship.
They probably smashed the robot and just stole the car.
It's quite possible.
Aw, poor horny Teletubby.
So she wants to buy a meeting with the guy with Lanky Nibs by selling some of the water that's on the ship.
Sure. Lanky Nibs loves water. We know this about him.
Well, everybody loves water, Sam. There's no water in this entire galaxy.
I got it, Danielle.
She won't tell Jason why she wants to meet with Lanky Nibs, and
I don't think there's any doubt that anyone, upon hearing of the existence of Lanky Nibs, would want to meet him.
I think that holds. I don't know why he even bothers asking, frankly.
Yeah, exactly, right. Just go with it. It makes sense.
He could have just said, his name's Lanky Nibs.
Yeah, right? Oh yeah, okay, got it. Totally makes sense. Let's do this.
And Jason's like, no, it's not how this is going to work, because me and my two guys here are going to take control of this ship since it's a 3-to-2 ratio. It's you and Nanny and the three of us. We win.
Also, they're pirates and she's a princess and a nanny.
Yeah, but she pulls out a laser gun and points it at his face and she's like, no, you're wrong. We're definitely going to see Lanky Nibs.
I mean, to be fair, that was smart of her.
It was. And he, of course, because he's a jerk face, he completely dismisses the gun. And she basically reminds him, I don't actually need you on the ship anymore because your guy, Roscoe, already put in the coordinates. So, I mean, it's a bonus if you're here and can help me get a way in with Lanky Nibs, but I don't really need you, so I'm happy to shoot you in the face.
I really hope she shoots him.
That would have been great. He's kind of snarky about it, of course, because that's just he's like Han Solo, but way more obnoxious.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. Just imagine. Think Han Solo, but less devil-may-care charming and more just kind of obnoxious.
That's difficult, Danielle.
I know. And she tells him that she has rigged the ship to blow if he touches the water, and there's some kind of, I don't know, some trap on it.
Did she prep this all ahead of time? Like, how'd you rig this ship to
apparently, like,
explode?
she did not trust this dude. Well, she knew that she was being on the ship. She knew she was going to go see Lanky Nibs, so she probably did set all this up ahead of time.
Okay, all right.
And sorry, just reading my notes.
Yeah, I can tell.
And that he basically, yes, you're going to be taking me to Lanky Nibs. And then I just wrote Lanky Nibs again in my notes. I like the name.
Like, you can't even read your own notes, but all you really care about is like, oh, there's Lanky Nibs. They're my waypoints. They're my...
It wasn't that I couldn't read the notes. It was that I was laughing because I wrote Lanky Nibs, period, Lanky Nibs. Because the name was killing me.
Well, I think one thing you like best about this movie.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the things. So, apparently the crown guy with the polyester crown thing is named Zorn. And he is not an emperor. Who knew? He is a humble servant to what I assume is the actual emperor, or rather, according to the internet, the Supreme Commander, played by John Carradine.
Look, if you're going to have a title, put Supreme in there.
Absolutely. It's a great name. It's way better than the actual emperor.
I would say Supreme Emperor.
Supreme Emperor Commander.
There you go.
Go for it.
I'd put everything in. The Supreme Emperor Commander General Lord of all that he supremes.
And make everybody say it every time they come
Every time. If you address me without saying every word of my title, I will execute you.
That would be Sam in a nutshell if he was in charge of the world.
Not unfair, but ouch.
It's so true. It's the most true thing I've ever said on this podcast.
I don't know if that's true, Danielle. Or either that or Danielle just lies all the time.
I mean, that's possible. You all don't know me.
Big old liar pants.
Sam just puts up with the lies.
He doesn't
know what anymore. He can't tell anymore what's the lie and what's the truth.
I can tell, I just don't care. I'm numb to it.
Numb to it. 18 long years in the trenches with Danielle.
Yeah. If you've been lied to as much as I have, you eventually realize that the lies don't matter. They're like the points on whose lies anyway.
There we are.
Welcome to Conversation with Danielle, where they're all lies and they don't matter anyway.
That's the podcast. Now you know. I just make up the plots of movies. Most of you haven't seen these movies, right? Like, how many of you have really read a Christopher Pike book?
Well, I'm about to, so...
The Eternal Enemy, you don't know. I made up the whole thing. There was definitely not a video player that told the future.
Actually, there wasn't, because it was just a pre-recorded tape sent back from the future.
There's a lie.
Daniel, you got us again.
So, the Supreme Emperor Commander, Lord of all, John Carradine,
Lord of all he supremes, Daniel.
Lord of all he supremes. He is wearing a real crown, so I figured out quickly that he was actually in charge.
I think they should have kept it like the polyester 80s aesthetic.
Yeah, that would have been great. Unfortunately, it's a shiny crown. And he hangs out in like a space hospital bed in a greenhouse.
Oh, he's ill.
He is ill, yep. And the commander says he is being told by, I assume, his doctors to disconnect from the machines, keeping him alive and just pass on. But he wants to see his plan come to completion.
So he's clinging to life to fulfill his nefarious machinations, but his second command presumably wants him dead immediately.
No, oddly. Zorn tells him that the princess escaped, and he laughs. He's like father, like daughter, and tells him that he can't fail, and Zorn says, don't worry, everything is going as planned.
Okay, question. Yes. What's the hierarchy here? I mean, we have Supreme Commander, Emperor, Lord of all he supremes, but there is a king too, right?
Yeah, and they seem to maybe be from a different area of space.
So, like, he's a king of a different region, and the Supreme Emperor, Commander, Lord of all he supremes is the ruler of this area of space.
Or maybe he's the ruler and the king is like a lower level. I don't know, Sam.
I would assume the king would rule over the Supreme Emperor, Commander, Lord of all he supremes.
And maybe that's true, but it does not seem like it from these interactions.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out the relationships between all these royalty/military titles.
Absolutely, Sam. I'm with you. I also was trying to figure it out. And if you figure it out, let me know.
All right, I'll get right on that.
So, apparently whatever's going on with the princess and everything is according to plan. So,
well, obviously the evil people wanted her to escape and lead them to Lanky Nibs because everybody wants to meet Lanky Nibs.
It's really the entire plot of this movie is just a big push so that everybody can meet Lanky Nibs.
I would love that.
That's the goal. They're like, wait. The princess can get us to Lanky Nibs.
Water? Who gives a damn about water? We got Lanky Nibs to meet, man. Have you heard this guy?
So what happens? Back on the ship, Jason is getting some information from like a Zoom call or a Skype call or something. And it's just basically kind of like the status of what's going on in the world right now.
Oh, he's watching a news broadcast.
Basically. He's chatting with the guy. They're like touching base on the state of address. And for some reason, behind him, there is a random space egg.
Is this going to be alien?
I don't know, Sam. Think back to your
Is this the
cover.
possum? The space possums?
It is not the space possum.
Then who cares?
Do you remember what else was on there, Sam?
Oh, there was the weird thing sitting on the Emperor's shoulder.
I don't know what that was. I have to look at it. It's all a blur, a fever dream. So this space egg, where did it come from? What is it? Who knows? But it starts to hatch.
Well, if it's not a space possum, I don't... Oh, okay, there is... Is this space herpy the love bug?
Maybe. We'll find out this week on Book Retorts.
I looked at the poster because I have questions.
Cheater, question eater.
What?
I don't know.
All right, you're done. But moving on to this important question. Who is the robot face man? Is it just the robots in a bow tie?
The robot with the bow tie sort of comes into play later, and I was actually wondering about that until I saw him and then was like, but how did he make the cover of this movie?
Okay, great. I'm glad we're on board for that.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff on the cover of that, I will definitely post that on our social, everybody. But the cover of that movie, like, really oversells the characters' roles.
How important they are.
So anyway, Roscoe's dead asleep, and the little egg starts to hatch, and it's this, it's kind of like a worm thing with legs, and it crawls off and like crawls up Roscoe's back as Jason's chatting, and Roscoe wakes with a scream and like tosses it across the room, and it crawls off and crawls under a table. And as they're trying to like lift the table to find the thing, Jason comes running over, and Roscoe's like, oh my god, it's underneath the thing. And they try to lift up the table, and it bites Jason as they try to catch it, and it runs down the hallway. You know, it's gone.
Okay, I'm glad we had that incredibly important sequence.
Yeah, and so it kind of, just for a reference, it looks like a horror version of the worm from Labyrinth without the, like, blue hair.
Wait, how could it be more horror than that thing?
Well, it's just like, it kind of looks like if you made a little baby alien from Alien, and then it had a relationship with the worm from Labyrinth, and they had a little ugly newborn baby.
All right, I hope that was clear for everybody.
I think that's very clear. And Jason's like, where did this egg come from? Because it's just like a hatched egg on the ground. And Roscoe's like, oh yeah, I actually saw that fall out of one of the boxes in the closet earlier when we were rummaging around in there. And he just left it on the ground, as you do, a giant egg.
That can't possibly go wrong.
So they look it up on this like clipboard box ledger. There's like clipboards in the
inventory.
Storage closet. Yeah, inventory in the near future still involves clipboard and a pen with a string attached to it.
I mean, it can't be any worse than we have these days.
And so they look, and they like look at the box number and everything, and they're like, oh no, this egg is labeled as a space herpy.
Uh-oh, you got bit by herpes.
You got bit by herpes. And you think, Sam, does that come into play, Sam?
Oh, absolutely. Of course it does, Danielle.
Oh yeah, it does not.
Okay, well, color me surprised. So is that the entirety of Herbie the Space Herpy?
Not exactly, but it's pretty darn close. So apparently it got activated due to heat. It was fine in the box in the closet, but I guess just, hanging out on the floor by some of the lights and fancy equipment made it too hot.
Yeah, well, you know how eggs do. Incubated.
Yes. And I also had a note where I said, I wonder if getting bit by a space herpy is an issue. Does it cause space herpes?
I would assume, but I mean, it is a space herpes, so I guess it's already been caused?
I don't know, Sam. They do not get into, like, the background on what a space herpy is.
Where is our xenobiologist who can explain to us the life cycle of the space herpy?
Once again, we need a biologist.
No, we need a xenobiologist, Danielle, very specifically.
That actually would help us immensely on many
It's
episodes.
absolutely true.
Not just a biologist, but a xenobiologist.
Surprising number of episodes, really.
I know. It's concerning. So Killjoy shows up, Killjoy the clergy, to get them, and Jason tells him to be on the lookout because the ship just got herpes. So they make it to the planet, which I assume is the pirate moon.
Yep.
My pirate moon? I don't know what it's called.
The pirate moon, Danielle.
Pirate moon.
I
thought you remember.
You said it like 10 minutes ago, 3 minutes ago.
I know. So they make it into this, it's a trade town, basically. It's very piratey, saloony, lots of people selling stuff, fighting. And apparently, Ron Perlman and Anjelica Huston made it back to the planet because they're there.
Yay!
I don't know how they escaped. I don't know why they I don't know. They're there.
Look, everyone knows you made this pirate moon when you escaped from being castrated.
Yeah, wild.
What would have happened to Anjelica Huston if she was put in the Castratomatic?
I don't know. Do they not take, like, female-bodied people?
Yeah.
Do that? I don't know, Sam.
Questions about the society.
I didn't see any. I don't remember. I didn't think about it at the time, but I did not see any female pirates.
They probably segregate them because, sexism.
Yeah, but you don't even see them, like, off in the background being dealt with.
Terrible. Well, I'm glad she survived.
She did. Maybe they just have never caught a female pirate because they're way smarter.
That's probably true.
So apparently Lanky Nibs is not where he's supposed to be. He's at Sweetwater, which...
No!
Where's Sweetwater, Sam? Don't know.
I need my Lanky Nibs!
Well, don't worry. We'll get there.
I need that Lanky Nibs up in my face. Where's that Nibby boy?
This is one of the few things the movie does actually bring into play.
Okay.
Though it would have been great if Lanky Nibs just never made an appearance.
Yeah, just like a weird MacGuffin they never achieve. Like a Waiting for Godot kind of situation.
Exactly. Waiting for Lanky Nibs.
Maybe this movie is just like an absurdist commentary like Waiting for Godot.
It could be. I think the movie's better if we think of it that way.
Okay, great. Waiting for Lanky Nibs is a better title too.
That's what we'll call it. Maybe that's the sequel. The Ice Pirates Waiting for Lanky Nibs.
The Ice Pirates 2, Waiting for the Lanky Nibs.
So he's at Sweetwater hiding out, but nobody knows why he's hiding out or why he's at Sweetwater.
Well, if he's hiding out, why does everyone know he's at Sweetwater?
I don't know. It's like the worst kept secret.
Okay.
So in order to get to Sweetwater, they have to get the help of this green alien creature. And basically Jason has to like sweet talk her to get her to help, but won't do it for the princess because the princess is like, you need to go talk to her and talk her into this. He won't do it unless she tells him why she needs to find Lanky Nibs.
Because his name is Lanky Nib. We went over this.
Yeah, but she doesn't say that, which would have been a total out. She should have just said that.
Yeah,
Instead,
obviously.
She tells him that he has information about her father. So he can help her find him because she doesn't think he's dead. She thinks he's missing.
Sure.
And the green alien agrees. She gets all flirty with them and agrees to take them across the desert in her sand buggy, which is one of the things that was on the cover of the movie.
See? Perfect poster. Perfect.
I mean, yes, Sam, everything that's on the cover of that does show up in the movie. The length or duration or importance of the things, which I will show you in a second, is ridiculous.
Also, that was wrong. The space shuttle / ice cube tray does not show up literally, but I think metaphorically it's there.
Yes, metaphorically it's definitely there. And so the sail's like a solar panel thing, so that's what's driving it through this giant desert.
Yeah, solar sail. Sure, makes sense.
Right. And there are like fake gophers for ambiance. They just keep popping
the
up.
Space possums.
They just keep popping up out of the desert, but they don't play any role. They're just like, I'm here, I'm gone, I'm here, I'm gone, I'm here, I'm gone.
And yet I love them.
They are really one of the better parts of the movie. So in the distance are these like tent dome shelters that kind of look abandoned and torn up and for no reason, Sam. Oh my gosh. Okay, I lied. I keep saying this is the best part of the movie, but this is the best part of the movie.
For a movie you seem to not like, you keep on saying this has got a lot of the best parts.
That's because the bar is so low, Sam.
I don't know if that's the reason.
You're going to agree. The best part of the movie is that in this little torn up desert dome shelter area, there are baby donkeys.
Okay.
The tiniest, cutest little baby donkeys in the whole world. And there's little like piglet, like a razorback piglet. And they're little teenage ducks.
Teenage ducks. How do you know a duck is teenaged?
Because it's not a big duck and it's not a little baby duck, but it was right in the middle where they're still furry, but they're not like big ducks.
Okay.
And they're just wandering around. And they're following all the characters.
And just for no reason?
They're just there. And it comes into play later and it's great.
I want to name each and every one of them Lanky Nibs.
They are all Lanky Nibses. And I don't know why there's so many creatures, but Lanky Nibs.
Yay!
Is here.
Yay! With all his animal friends. See, Lanky Nibs, true hero.
He is sitting in a chair and he is old. You may remember that he previously in the picture, that was supposed to be a modern day picture, was quite young.
I don't remember that, but thank you for reminding me.
I did say that the princess showed him a picture of a young man.
Yeah, I've been paying attention, Danielle. You know this.
And Jason's like, oh, dude, what happened to you? And apparently, Lanky Nibs got stuck in a time warp and aged
time warp.
20 years.
I'm now old man Nibs.
Exactly. Old man Lanky Nibs. Lanky old man Nibs.
Lanky Nibs the old man.
Okay, we got it.
Oh, sure. We can do one more.
That was one too many, Sam.
Old lanky man Nibs.
So old lanky man Nibs tells them that they shouldn't have come. They were followed. And he's like, we're not followed. Are you kidding me? Look. He's like, look at the desert. There's nobody there. And she's like, shut up. Stop talking. Like, where's my father?
Yeah. We don't have to have our pleasantries. I'm here for a purpose. We'll get out of your hair.
Supposedly, according to Lanky Old Man Nibs, her father found a way to the seventh world. Woo.
Right. I mean, we figured that. He was looking for it. So far, so good.
Not that we know what it is, but it exists. Supposedly.
It's a water world, Danielle.
Yeah, it is. Like, duh.
Also, I figured it out, Danielle. Okay. What happens is they find the seventh world, they start draining it, that's when dry land appears, and that's where Kevin Costner goes. Boom.
Oh, we figured out the tie-in.
Yeah.
Is that where you think this movie's going, Sam?
Absolutely not.
What do you think's going to happen in this movie? Just give me like a 60-second summary.
Why would I be able to predict that, Danielle? All I want to know is, does Lanky Nibs exit the picture from here? Do we ever see him again?
You'll find out shortly.
Oh, he's gonna die. I don't want Lanky Nibs to die. I want Lanky Nibs to live forever.
He does in The Ice Pirates 2. What was it?
Waiting for Lanky Nibs.
Yeah.
And they're waiting for him because he's dead.
Aww. How about Ice Pirates 3, The Return of Lanky Nibs?
Oh, just like they did with Spock. Got it.
It's fine. There's time, Sam. There's time warps. We're fine.
The search for Lanky Nibs. Lanky Nibs strikes back.
Lanky Nibs the Revenge.
Rise of Lanky Nibs. I just want to do every Star Wars movie, but like it's episode 4, A New Lanky Nibs. Episode 5, Lanky Nibs strikes back.
I'm telling you right now, I would watch the heck out of that series.
Episode 6, The Rise of Lanky Nibs.
Okay.
Return of Lanky Nibs, sorry.
So, they're super skeptical about this whole seventh world thing because, old wives' tale. But
this is old Lanky Man Nibs here. Listen to him.
I know. Like, he's not lying to you. It's Lanky Nibs.
It's Lanky Nibs.
He says he swears. He's like, I saw the tapes and tasted the water. It exists. It's a real thing. But they got caught outside the sector by the Templars, and her father was taken off the ship, and the Templars killed the entire crew. And Lanky Nibs played dead and stole the ship and buzzed off.
Buzzed off was his words, I assume.
I added that in. I don't know why.
Like, do spaceships buzz in this movie? What's going on here?
Maybe. They don't have any sound effects. The CG is actually not terrible. Like, the robot people are questionable. They kind of look like robots. I'll give them credit.
Sure. In 86, like, CG was barely a thing.
Yeah, but the scenes at the beginning where they're, like, docking on the big ship, not that bad.
Okay. Well, 1 point for the Ice Pirates.
That's where all their budget went to, after they paid Anjelica Huston.
Is there any more ice in this movie?
Great question, Sam.
Because they're the Ice Pirates, and they have, like, 4 seconds of ice interaction in this whole movie.
I'm going to say no. I don't think there is, but I could be wrong. We're getting close to the end here.
So they were the pirates formerly of ice.
Yes, the former Ice Pirates.
Okay, great. Well, we're getting all the terminology clear.
Return of Lanky Nib.
Lanky Nib strikes back.
So,
Revenge of Lanky Nibs.
Okay, we got it.
Nope. Get them all.
Gotta get
There's
them
like
all.
9 Star Wars movies you have to name Lanky Nibs, and then
We'll get there. We'll do it at the end.
No, we
Okay.
won't.
Off in the distance, another buggy arrives, and it has a big giant skull head on it, so it's clearly an evil buggy.
Oh, well, obviously, because skulls are always evil.
Well, in this case, in this world, things are exactly as they seem.
Okay, great.
They all run off to their own buggy with the green alien, but bummer! Apparently the bounty hunters blow up their buggy, and there goes the green alien woman.
I forgot there was a green alien woman, I'll be honest.
Yeah, well, she was only in like 30 seconds in the movie for no reason whatsoever.
Show some respect for the dead, Danielle.
I did. I really quite liked her character, actually.
Okay, well, for all the seconds you met her.
She seemed like an interesting person.
This is not a movie where the less you know about the characters, the more interesting they are.
Absolutely, 100%. Because Jason is the most obnoxious thing to ever walk the earth. And we know the most about him.
All right, got it.
They run for another, like, kind of a more broken down buggy that's off on the side. And Lanky is shot, Sam!
I knew it. Not Lanky Nibs.
Not Lanky Nibs! And Jason grabs him and pulls him on the ride. And there's a sword fight on the buggy. Because
laser guns were in the thing, I guess.
So one of the bounty hunters like climbs aboard their buggy as they're zooming across the desert wasteland, and they have this big swashbuckling sword fight. And Jason falls off but manages to grab a rope and is being dragged behind, and then kind of lets go and grabs the wheel of the other buggy behind him as it drives past. And due to the magic of editing, he manages to climb aboard and
instead of being crushed by the wheel, he managed to get on board.
And he swords them to death, and then somehow...
Did they forget they have laser guns? What happened here?
Oh yeah, no, they don't use laser guns as far as I can tell, or maybe the other people are, but he's definitely using a saber and sword.
The evil people forget they had laser guns. Like, oh, you got a sword, we're screwed now!
Yeah, for the life of me, I can't remember if anybody was using a laser gun, but there were a lot of swords, so I'm thinking no.
Fair enough, I guess. Who needs laser guns when you have swords?
But somehow with his sword, he manages to blow up their buggy and jumps off just in time.
You didn't know swords were explosive?
Yeah, this ones are. I mean, it's future swords, Sam.
Yeah, of course, obviously.
They have a little button. You just push it and throw it and run.
This is like Swords 101, Danielle.
Future swords blow up.
All swords blow up, Danielle. You just got to use them right.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not very well versed in swords.
Well, get versed, Danielle. Otherwise, Lanky Nibs died for nothing.
That's true. I'll work on it. Speaking of Lanky Nibs, poor Lanky Nibs is not doing too well. His back is broken, according to the princess's deep medical assessment
got shot,
with her medical training.
It broke his back by being shot in the front.
Yes, and he's like,
cool.
Don't bother with me. Go find the seventh world. Find your father. Go to the tri-system. And then he sadly and abruptly passes away from his broken back.
From being shot in the front. Got it. All right.
I don't know if he was shot in the front, Sam, but he had a broken back. Not a shot back, not a wounded, not a bleed out, broken back.
Oh, I tripped. You know what I think happened, Danielle? I think they shot, but they missed him, but it startled him so much he fell.
That's possible. There was a lot of chaos going on screen, a lot of editing, so I may have missed him just falling.
He's an old man. A fall like that will kill you.
That's true. I did. It broke his back, and he died from his broken back.
Well, at least it wasn't a broken heart.
Maybe it was.
There'd be the new movie, Lanky Nibs in Love, where he goes back in time and meets Shakespeare.
Aww. I'd watch that too.
No,
So the crew, plus all the donkeys and the piglets and the ducks, make their way across the desert.
Did they gallop all the animals on that little buggy while they were like...
No, they don't even have a buggy anymore, Sam. They're just walking.
Okay, sure.
I don't know why. And somehow they make it back to their ship even though it took a buggy to get there.
Look, when you have the power of baby ducks and pigs and donkeys, you can go anywhere.
Yeah, it's the magical power of the teen ducks.
The teen ducks. I want them to be like angsty. Like, gosh, Mom, I'm not going to say quack like you and Dad. That's so pedestrian.
And they've got little mohawks. They're so cute.
I want them to have like berets and be like, I don't say quack.
And then they do little snaps.
Yes. And they're like, yeah, I want to see all the spectrum of teenage ducks.
That's exactly what's going on. They're quite charming. So they get back, the crew tells them everything that Lanky Nibs said, and Ron Perlman is like, it's impossible, we can't get to another galaxy assuming it even exists.
Get to another galaxy?
Yeah, apparently that's where the seventh world is.
Another world than one galaxy you could visit in this universe. Well, so wait, how are they out of water if they can visit other galaxies?
Sam, apparently all the galaxies don't have water. I don't know.
That's how water works.
Well, in this world, it does.
Not world, Danielle. Universe, apparently.
In this universe, it does. There's no water in the entire known universe for reasons unknown.
Okay, fine.
I feel like it's of note that Nanny is back in her maid outfit for no reason.
Look, Danielle, she's going to be the fashionable cosplaying queen she is, and don't you dare try to hold her down.
She's great. So they're going to start at the tri-system. So that's what Lanky Nibs told them to do.
Is it TRY or TRI?
TRI.
I figured. That's unfortunate.
I assume. But to be honest, I don't know. I didn't watch it with captions.
It should be TRY because they try there first.
No. Good one. That wasn't good, everybody.
Danielle, it's better than anything else.
But apparently it's the last place Lanky Nibs saw her father alive, so that's where they're going to start.
So the last place they're going to try. Got it.
You asked about this, Sam. There is now a robot in a chef's hat and a bow tie, and he is serving the donkeys and the pigs their food. Yay,
see? I knew he was a hero. He deserves to be on the cover.
He does, and it's absolutely worth the hour of the movie thus far.
You don't sound convinced by that.
I did. I wrote that in my notes. It's worth the hour of this movie thus far.
All right. Well, everyone, you heard Danielle here first. 100% 2 thumbs up, positive review. Go watch Ice Pirates. The Ice Pirates.
So that evening, they're having this, I think it was trying to be like a bonding moment between the characters, because you don't know anything about any of these characters. Like, we don't even know where the princess is, like, from princess of, or
does she have a name?
Motivation. Karina.
Okay, right.
I believe. And they have this, like, turkey dinner that the robot made, and I think one of the other characters.
From the ducks! No!
No, it's turkey. It's a giant turkey, Sam. It's not, unless they, like, taped
took
all
a bunch
of
of
them
and, like,
together.
mold them together, Danielle, like a tofurkey.
Ew. No. That explains, though, why earlier he wasn't feeding the ducks. Uh-oh.
Do we ever see the ducks again, Danielle?
I think so.
Okay, good.
So, for unnecessary reasons, as they go to cut into the turkey, the space herpie, like, crawls out of it, pops out of it.
Like an alien?
Yeah, and, like, runs off, and everybody screams and freaks out. And the princess, I think, is very validly angry that nobody told her that there was a space herpie aboard her ship.
That would be something I'd want to know. And you gotta call the previous ships you visited and tell them too.
No. That, we'll see.
Because that'd be a joke that's perfect for this movie.
So they finally start searching the ship for the space herpie, but you don't actually see that scene. You just see Nanny in her maid outfit and the bow-tied robot bottle feeding all the animals.
Danielle, I don't know why you hate this movie so much. It has the best stuff in it.
I know it sounds like good things, but the presentation is super boring.
People watch, like, bottle feeding animals on YouTube for hours.
I said amazing. The animals were by far the best part of this movie, and I was not lying when I got to this part and said, this is actually the best part of the movie. This is actually the best part of the movie.
Okay, sure.
So, cutscene. We're at a foggy planet. The crew is walking across it, and there is a woman in gladiator shoes. Like
sandals?
Yeah, but even worse. And she's like a bikini warrior armor woman.
So she looks like a stereotypical Amazon warrior type thing.
Yeah, but like way more bikini.
Okay.
Like a music video version of an Amazon warrior.
Okay, got it. So far, so good. Love it.
And it looks like she's on a white horse, but it turns out that it's actually a unicorn.
Well, obviously space unicorns are real, Danielle. There's no water anywhere where there are space unicorns.
So there's space unicorns, and she's watching them. And then there's like suddenly a whole band of these gladiator women, and they attack in the fog. And a unicorn, sadly, somehow loses a horn by spearing one of the robots.
So it spears the robot and the horn breaks off?
Yeah. Wild,
right?
Oh,
no. Tragic.
I know. And then the unicorn Amazonians lasso Jason and like drag him away.
Just him, though.
Just him. And for reasons, it switches scenes, and then for reasons I don't know, bikini warriors are like charging at the camera as we follow Jason, and then actually apparently the princess is there too, and they're like, it's the camera's going up this staircase towards this throne that this man is sitting on.
Okay.
And he's sitting in this like very regal attire, some really hardcore 80s glasses, and he's played by Bruce Vilanch.
Bruce Vilanch?
Yeah.
Oh, Bruce Vilanch. He's a comedian. He's great.
Yeah, I've seen him before.
Yes, Bruce Vilanch.
I'm sorry. That's what it looks like. It's Vilanch.
Yeah, Bruce Vilanch.
Yeah, that's not how I pronounce things, Sam.
I know.
It makes sense, like grammatically or whatever.
Everybody's in this movie.
Yeah. It's like a crazy cast. You do recognize most of the cast of this movie.
Wow. Okay, so Bruce Vilanch is the king of the Amazons, which is kind of ironic.
And there's also like some lynxes or something and some owls. I think the owl might have been what was on his shoulder.
You mean the big cats, not the chains, right?
Right.
Got it.
And he's apparently some dude named Wendon.
Sure,
And
Wendon.
he's like, yep, I've got your dad here. He's on the planet. And Jason says...
That was easy.
Yeah, I know. Jason is like, I'll take you to the seventh world if you let her dad go. And the guy's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna like it here, you know, I'm in charge of stuff. It's cool.
Wait, is he the dad or is he like the king of the Amazon? I don't understand.
He's just like a king of the Amazons.
So why is like him? Why does he want to hold on to the king and the other king, the dad? Why? Why does he want dad?
I'm going to tell you right now, Sam, that I do not understand anything that's going on in this planet.
Okay, cool. Great.
You're going to see a bunch of stuff go down in the next like 5 minutes and nothing. I don't understand. Like, I don't know if I missed a line that explained what was happening on this world, like why this thing exists. There's a little bit of explanation later that kind of, you go, oh, okay, maybe that sort of makes sense, but not really. Nothing makes sense.
All right, well, I can't wait to hear it.
So Bruce Valanche, Wendon, he refuses. Wendon, the Amazon god, he refuses to let her dad go, and then Roscoe magically swings from some random curtain rope, like it's actually a rope attached to a curtain, and somehow manages to swing across the entire room.
Any rope can be swung on if you swashbuckle hard enough, Danielle.
Yes, he swashbuckles so hard that he knocks Wendon's head off.
He kills Wendon?
Wait, and a fight ensues, and the princess, like, jumps on Wendon's head with a laser gun pointed to it because apparently it can still talk.
So he's still alive as a head.
He's like a robot, maybe? It's unclear.
Wendon, the robot king of the Amazons. Got it.
Perhaps. You don't see any, like, connections that would suggest that it's, like, attached to...
Bikini Amazons.
Bikini Amazonian warrior woman.
Things.
Yeah. And she tells them to stop or she'll kill him, like all the Amazon warriors who are fighting everybody. And he's like, yeah, stop. I don't want to die. And Sam, there is somehow only 15 minutes of this movie left.
Wow. I mean, I guess they've already found her dad, so they're only a hop, skip, and a jump away from the seventh world, which they're probably never going to get to.
Oh, yeah. I paused the movie at this point because I was curious how much longer it was because it felt like very unfinished. And I was like, whoa, 15 minutes. What are they going to solve in 15 minutes?
Well, less if credits.
Wild. So Jason ends up torturing the information about her dad out of Wendon, like where her dad's located out of Wendon, with a feather to his nose. That's
cruel, man.
Because they're just holding him by the hair. And the princess runs to the room where he's supposed to be located, and there's a man standing there, and he throws himself at him and hugs him. But as she steps back, she realizes that the man's like showing no emotion, and she realizes it's not actually her father. Is it
whatever the Emperor's toadie's called? Vervox Vocal. What's his name?
What are you talking about?
The guy with the polyester crown who you thought was the Emperor.
Zorn or whatever?
Yeah, Zorn. There.
It looks exactly like her father. He just, like, is clearly not in any way emotionally connected. And Roscoe approaches and kind of does, like, a check on him. He's like, oh, it's an Omega robot.
Okay, the Omega robot, sure.
Yeah, it might be Mega Robot, but I'm pretty sure it's Omega Robot.
Either way, tis a robot.
It is a robot, and apparently like a high-end robot.
Yeah, apparently much better than the fodder they make from priests.
Yeah, it's really weird. And then the princess is crying like, oh no, what's happened to my father? And the head just laughs, Wendon the head. And they, like, don't question him. They don't do anything. They just drop him and leave.
Well, okay.
But apparently, now they're back on the ship, and they did take both the Omega robot and Wendon's head to the ship. Well,
obviously I thought, like, they got halfway out the place, like, wait a minute. We should go back for the head and the... might as well, right?
But you don't see any of that. So, all you see is them, like, pushing away the Omega robot, dropping the head.
You can assume, Danielle, right? You can make that leap yourself.
It's just weird to see them be like, drop the head on the ground, and the next scene, the head's up on a table on the ship. And you're like, wait.
Maybe Nanny went back for him.
Yeah, it's true. Let's assume Nanny does all the things that make sense.
That's why she's constantly changing clothes. Like, well, I gotta get my head-taking clothes out.
That must be it. It's her and Roscoe.
Those two could team up and conquer the galaxies.
It's quite fun. Yeah, all of them. Maybe they could find one with water.
So at least two.
So it appears that they, like I said, that they took the Omega robot and the head to the ship, and they're checking out the robot to see if there's a message in its memory bank or something. They seem to think, total inference, because they do not specify, that the father might have made the Omega robot or was somehow connected to the Omega robot.
Omega robot.
Omega robot.
Do you prefer alpha robots? Wrong.
It's Omega robot. The best robot in the galaxy. It is the Omega.
Well, it's the last robot in the galaxy, apparently.
Apparently.
So her father, the king, is also a robosmith?
Okay, yes. I have no idea. You don't find anything out about this woman's father. But my best guess, based on some like very low-key clues, because I feel like they cut all the important details out of this movie, is that Wendon is like supposed to be on this planet to be like the jailer for the king. Like maybe he's like working for the emperor or something, but he's like supposed to be keeping the king on the planet. And my best guess is that they made the Omega robot so it looked like the father was there, but in reality he got to leave.
So Wendon made it because he's done screwed up.
I don't know who made it, what happened, I don't know if it was a plan between Wendon and the dad, or if like whose side Wendon's. I don't know anything about Wendon. I didn't like go in depth Google, but I just like read the Wikipedia article and looked at a couple things, and I was hoping somebody would explain the plot so I could be like, oh, that's what that means.
That's
it was
cheating,
not there.
Danielle.
Well, that was after I watched the whole movie.
Yeah, but not before you explained it.
Well, I had my notes. I was going to go based on my notes. I was just curious if they could explain to me what Wendon's purpose in life was.
Fair.
He's a huge character, and they like, what?
I mean, relatively huge, yeah, I guess.
Wild. So Roscoe, like I said, is examining this Omega robot, and he asks them to sync the computer to something that doesn't make sense in the robot when he's checking him out. And apparently it shows a circle on the screen. And the princess looks at the circle, and she's like, oh, that's my father's ring.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I know. With you, Sam. I actually watched the scene like 3 times because I was like, I don't understand this. And they ask the head about it, Wendon's head, and threaten him. And the head is like, you don't have to threaten me. I have it right here. And he like sticks out his tongue, and there's like a ring on it. He like regurgitates it onto his tongue.
Guess he was storing it up like his brainstem or something.
Yeah, I don't know where you keep that in your robot head, but there you go. And she places the ring on her own ring. She has a similar one, and it spins and creates this little hologram of her father.
Okay.
Because why not? Help
Why
me,
not?
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Well, a little late for that.
At the end of the movie, the hologram tells them that he was told she was dead, that the king was told the princess was dead. But in case that's untrue, he's hoping it's untrue, he left the Omega to take care of Wendon. So there's some, like, connection there. And he gives them his coordinates and says to follow the path exactly, because if they deviate, they will be suspended in time forever. And he hopes that they'll be reunited sometime.
So they have to navigate through like a unstable time area to get to him.
Absolutely. 100%.
Got it.
Yep.
Very Star Trek.
It is. So they set course, and Killjoy is like, I'll take care of Wendon. He goes, I'll take care of Wendon. I always wanted to get ahead.
Womp womp.
Oh, Killjoy. That night, Jason visits the princess in her quarters in, like, the best outfit in the whole movie, which is this tied, unbuttoned, like, shirt, like a buccaneer pirate shirt.
Yeah.
But it's not buttoned at all. It's just, like, tied up so you can see his, like, whole belly. And it's like a buccaneer bow on his little rat tail that he has.
That's amazing. I love it.
It's really amazing. And they apparently are now attracted to each other. Sam, you knew they were going to be attracted to each other, but there's literally
you thought there'd be some kind of build up to it.
Yeah,
not
there's
just
none.
Switch
Literally,
being flipped. Well, I guess she sees Wendon's head and is like, well, I guess I want a little for myself.
Or maybe it's more like, haha, very funny. But maybe it's more like, oh, we're about to go into a time where we may all die. Let's have sex.
Sure. I don't know, Danielle. I can't explain any more than you can.
I cannot. And so they start making out, and then they change the room ambiance. Like, they literally announce to the little computer on board, let's change the room ambiance to it's called Passionate Storm.
Oh, no.
It not only changes the wall to, like, a storm scene on the coast, but pumps up some, like, 80s sex music and some wind and rain effects.
Danielle, this sounds like the most amazing room ever. I need one of these.
So they have these, like, sexy times amongst the storm with a lot of, like, saber innuendos.
Well, I think it's mostly just saber rattling, if you ask me.
It's pretty special, and the scene goes on for a weirdly long time.
There's only like a few minutes left, Danielle. They gotta get through it.
No, they spend, like, this is what, maybe 13 minutes of the movie left, and they spend, like, 3 to 4 on this scene.
Worth it.
Wild. And it's especially wild when you hear the next part of like what they managed to stuff into 10 minutes of movie.
Oh, I bet I know what they stuffed in.
Oh, okay.
You said it.
You said it.
You said it.
All right, so they clearly have some special times together, some memories that will last a long time. And they cut scene to the alarm going off on the ship, and there is an unidentified spaceship on the sensor moving 5 times faster than possible. But apparently everything's moving faster because they're in the time warp.
Oh, are they going to do the time warp again?
But they can't maneuver off of like the path of the ship approaching them because they have to stay, otherwise they get stuck in the time warp.
Right, of course.
So, bummer. The unidentified ship sends out a communication request, and it's Zorn, the evil crown-wearing non-emperor.
There he is.
He's back.
From outer
Badder than
space.
ever. Literally.
Yeah.
He thanks the princess for following his plan and leading them straight to the 7th world, because that's all they were missing was how to get there.
I mean, wasn't that like everyone was missing that? The whole point?
Well, yeah.
Didn't know there was?
His plan was to follow the princess there.
Cool.
So apparently they let the father go, I'm assuming, because they knew he'd go to the 7th world. The daughter would follow. I don't know why they didn't follow the dad. I don't know, Sam.
Look, don't question their obviously perfect plan.
Oh, we never do that here.
No, ever.
So the bad guys board their ship, and there's this such a long robot fight in the hallway. And
We're just like robots fight each other, or like they fight robots?
So like the robots storm the ship first from the bad ship, and then they send their robots to like fight the other robots. So,
a bunch of robots fight each other, and nobody cares about these robots.
Right, and all the people are like kind of in the background, like, you fight robots! Like they're not getting into it yet.
What a pointless fight scene.
Oh, this is crazy, Sam. This is the craziest part of the whole movie. So time is moving very fast, and everything keeps doing these weird like speed up effects.
Uh-huh.
So the fight moves really fast and then kind of like slows down the normal time, and the movie fast, slows down the normal time. And the crew suddenly starts like growing beards as time moves on.
All of them?
Yeah, and then, well, like not the women, but the men, all of the beards, and the women are like, the hair is getting longer, and 3 months have passed in just a few minutes. And the princess isn't feeling well, and the nanny
Is she pregnant?
And the nanny takes her to her room. Yes, Sam, it turns out she's pregnant.
Well, that was fast. Like, geez, guys, one time.
So she's pregnant, and she's like now several months along. There are 8 minutes left in this movie, Sam.
8 minutes left for a pregnancy, Danielle. Time for a rapid birth.
I actually got like obsessed with the time because I was like, what is this movie doing?
Time warp, Danielle. It's clearly got it all figured out.
So Jason rushes to the princess when he hears the news. You know, he gets out of the fight, and the donkeys and the pigs are like wandering the hall, so they're fully grown.
Oh, I missed the teenage ducks.
Yes, I assume the ducks are somewhere, or maybe they really did eat them. And the princess is given birth in her room now, and they show him the baby. He like walks in, and they're like, "It's our baby!" And he's like,
You're fighting a war.
And he's like, "Sorry about that. I gotta go though. There's a big fight in the hallway."
He's just sorry about you having a baby.
Yeah, sorry I got you knocked up. I gotta go. We'll talk about it later. So time continues to move, and the little kid is now 3, and Nanny is suddenly
it went from like
so fast.
3
Say,
months
I'm
to
not
like
kidding.
3.
You don't understand. This is crazy. So the nanny is suddenly a pile of bones. She like died.
No, what? She's dead in 3 years?
And like dead, not like just passed out on her chair.
Like she died
bones.
immediately after the kid was born and sat there for 3 years decomposing.
And the princess, meanwhile, is like super chill with her parenting. She's like, "Don't do that, honey." You know, like she's just, I'm like, is she living a real life? Like, she feels like it 3 years? Because everybody else seems to be like living a life that's sped up.
Right. And she's like, did she experience the 3 years, or the kid just old now with the brain of a child?
And she just is super chill. She's just been hanging out in her quarters this entire time, taking care of this child while there's a huge fight going on like down the hallway.
What the heck? This is so weird.
It's so weird. And the men are now like white-haired and ancient. Suddenly, like they'd sped up that far, and they're continuing this fight against these like ageless robots that just keep going and going. Ron Perlman tragically dies of old age.
No!
Jason and Roscoe are like the only ones left, it seems like, and Zorn appears finally like carted in by the robots, and he's like, "Give up! I'm clearly winning this war."
I think everyone's losing.
The 7th world is mine for the taking. But hurrah, Sam! Jason's son, now easily in his 30s.
Wow.
Swings through on a rope because ropes.
God told you, Danielle, you can trick on any rope if you swashbuckle hard enough.
Yeah, and this rope is actually tied... Oh, I lied. This rope is actually tied to a giant block of ice.
Hey, the ice does come back, Danielle, and you gave this movie too little credit.
Yeah, this end scene is actually in the ice chamber on this ship. And he swings by and he's standing on top of the ice thing and he's like, "Here I come, Dad." And he's met his father once when he was a baby.
For like 2 seconds. Or it could have been 5 years. Who knows?
So he knocks over old Zord and takes out all the robots with his giant ice block. And why he's 30 but they're like 90 is beyond me. Like, I just don't understand.
Yeah, they should be like 50 or 60, right? Well, look, maybe there are fluctuations in the time field density throughout the ship.
I have to assume that's the case. So he is played by the actor who plays Jason.
Oh, of course. Obviously, same guy.
And the family, like, the princess shows up and she's like, "We won!" And they're all excited and they're giving hugs to each other. And for time reasons, as they hug, somehow their love, I guess, reverts time back to normal.
Okay, re-youngifies them. Great.
I guess they're out of the time warp, and the other ship, Zorn's ship, was 1 degree off the course because he didn't have the insider information about staying on track. And they were just following them. So he's now lost forever in the time warp.
I guess he's not going to be doing the time warp again.
He is. Well, he will be forever.
That's a fate worse than death.
So they all cheer, and on the horizon is the 7th world, looking a whole lot like Earth. Oh,
of course twist. It is. No, I told you it's going to be Waterworld, which is also Earth, Danielle.
It is. And they're like, "Look at all that water." You know, they're exclaiming and shouting for joy. And Roscoe grins and says, "You know what this means, don't you? We're out of business." Meaning the ice pirates.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah, making sure. And this 80s slow rock jam plays as the credits roll.
Did they ever find her father?
Who knows, Sam? I guess he's at the 7th world, so yes.
Also, they should call it the 3rd world. Well, that would have been a little difficult, but I mean, like, because Earth is the 3rd, planet from the sun.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They're not familiar with that solar system, so why would they know? Maybe it's the sub. I don't know. I don't know. Any question you have about this movie? I do not know the answer.
I gotta say, Nell, that movie was amazing, and the ending, just pure insanity for like 15 minutes. I love it.
Yeah, and it felt like insanity while you were watching it. You're like, how are they going to resolve this in 8 minutes?
With time travel. And the power of having it. So does the son stay 30 or does the son go back up inside his mother?
Yeah, they just seem to revert back so they know she's pregnant now. So it's like the day after they had sex.
So everything reverts back to the moment they enter the time warp.
Yes, 100%.
Wild. Yeah. Absolutely wild.
Crazy, crazy, crazy pants. It's such a weird movie. Good choice.
Well, Danielle, I was going to ask you, I guess, at this point, do you think you made the correct choice in choosing the ice pirate over the elm-chanted forest?
Well, given our premise of, like, odd, strange, weird, plotless, or plot movies that don't go where they should, yeah, I mean, I think this is a perfect addition to our little canon show here.
Yeah.
As like a movie that I would willingly watch. I feel like it fit the bar for our idea that it's something that you're not supposed to want to do necessarily.
Well, again, this is the whole point, Danielle, is to expand our horizons. You're going to watch things and read things that you wouldn't normally seek out, and so am I. So, mission accomplished.
Yeah, this strongly reminds me of something I would have had to watch at your house in my teenage years. So,
had Danielle. Had the privilege of watching. You're welcome. Look, without me making you watch this movie, you never would have met Lanky Nibs.
That's true. And I would not have gotten to see I'm not sure I've ever seen a baby donkey. They were just so cute.
They got bottle fed by a nanny who is a maid in a French maid outfit.
And they got bottle fed by a robot with a bow tie.
Yeah, there you go. See, Danielle? Perfect movie. You're welcome. Everything I give you is gold, and I will take my praise now. Thank you.
My argument was more just that, like, It clearly had, like, where did the space herpes go, Sam?
Who cares?
That's not my argument for this movie. My argument for this movie is that it clearly wanted to be a bit sillier than it was.
Yeah, it wanted to be more Spaceballs.
Yeah, and it didn't lead into that aesthetic, and it didn't lead into being serious. And so it ended up just being like a weird mix of two tonal shifts that just never quite meshed
Do you
together.
think it would have been better if, like, the absolute bonkers insanity of the last 15 minutes was present? Like, everything from when they got into the planet with Bruce Valanche and they took his head off, from that point on, it sounds like it was just one insane thing after another.
Yes.
If it had kept up that pace of just blinding insanity for the whole thing, would you have enjoyed it more?
I think so. Like, I just wanted it to commit to one side or the other. I either wanted it to just, like, hunker down on the story and, like, make it a really good, strong story and it'll be a little more serious, or I wanted it to be just, like, over-the-top insanity.
Okay, that's fair. Well, I guess, we only have one more question we should ask our audience, Danielle.
Yes.
And that question is, if you could change the title of any movie to include Lanky Nibs, what movie would that be?
Oh, please let us know. We really want to know that one.
Yeah. Well,
Out of all
but that
the
one
ones we've asked.
The more Lanky Nibs movies, the better. I mean, are you going to do Terminator 2 Lanky Nibs Day? Whatever you got.
Raiders of the Lost Lanky Nibs.
Raiders of the Lost Nibs. All right. We can't do them all today. Let's leave some for our lovely listeners to determine. Be sure to check in next week for the second part of our Switcheroo series, where I'll be doing the Christopher Pike book, Bury Me Deep, which Danielle was kind enough to give me no choice because she gave me 2 Christopher Pike books to choose from.
It's good for you.
Yes, just as Ice Pirates is good for you, Danielle.
And I'm looking forward to potentially doing Elm Enchanted Forest.
The Elm Enchanted Forest.
Whatever. It's a very hard title to remember.
It's not that hard. It's Elm Enchanted. It's like if an elm would chant at you. Like, think of it as a chorus member.
You should be impressed that I even remembered the title.
Well, I said it like 3 times already
That's the
today.
only reason I remembered it.
Yeah, I got it.
I couldn't even remember the in Ice Pirates.
And you watched that movie.
Wild.
Well, anyway, you can send your Lanky Nibs inspired movie titles to us at bookretorts.com.
Or you can tweet, Facebook, or Instagram us at bookretorts.
And if you like what we do, and why wouldn't you, and you want more of it, you can find bonus content and other stuff and support us on Patreon at patreon.com/bookretorts.
Patreon. We got some cool stuff on there.
Yes, we're not just saying that because we don't know what we have.
We have lots of cool things on there, Sam.
Yes, we do. That's true. But you won't know that until you listen.
That's true. I have one quick question before we leave our listeners, Sam.
Sure.
Are you planning to watch this movie now that you've heard the summary?
I mean, I think this would be a perfect thing to put on at like a Sunday morning when you're not interested in paying that much attention. You're going to kind of like fall asleep a little bit and then wake up just in time for all the insanity. Which is kind of how I watched this movie the first time when I first learned about it, which was sleeping through most of it and then waking up for a little bits of insanity and then having vague recollection of something very weird happening to me.
Well, that's all I have now, too, is vague recollections of something weird happening to me.
All right. Well, perfect. It sounds like it's a winner, Danielle. So I think the answer to that is probably when I'm in the right mood.
Fabulous. I'm looking forward to your report, and I'm sure our listeners are, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, they won't hear it, Danielle. But
They might. We might circle back. If Sam watches this, we'll ask him. Okay,
great. Thanks, Danielle. All right. Well, thanks so much for that. Until next time, don't fear the time warp, I guess.
That's where you're going. Okay.
I'm just saying, all I got to do is hug it out and you're back to normal.
Yep, that's true. Problem solved, everybody.
All right. Till next time. Bye.
Take care, everybody.
Well, Danielle, you did it. Space pirates. All done.
I did. Ice pirates.
Ice pirates. Gosh, who cares?
Same
Only
thing.
thing that matters is Lanky Nibs.
That's true.